ain't it. And I got up out of class, walked out of class and was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go back. But I couldn't tell my parents at the time. I was living with my parents.
Yeah.
And going to school. So I couldn't tell them. So I told them, I was like, look, I'm gonna go back to LA. I have another internship. I have another internship in the fall. This was a summer semester. I have another internship. So I'm gonna go to LA in August. And, I'll just stay there a couple months and I'll come back. Yeah. Lied to them. My mama helped drive me to LA this whole time thinking I have an internship. When she flies back, I'm like, yeah, so.
Yeah, actually, so. Hot off the plane.
I actually dropped out of college and I'm not coming back home.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Armand Lindsay back again with another episode of Big Boss Talk, the podcast. Listen, I can't say it enough. Another top tier guest. All right, listen. When we talk about Big Boss Talk, it doesn't mean you're a boss, right? Like we're not directing people, talking down on people. Boss is just more of a mantra, right? Getting up every day, doing what you love, providing for your people, providing for your family, and just understanding that it's a 24/7 grind. You know what I'm saying? Even when you want to take a break, it's like you got to keep moving. You got to find space to recharge, redevelop, and just come back at it, in a different route, but 10 times harder. But I got a top tier guest that I'm super excited about. I told her before we hopped on, I was like, I'm interested and intrigued about her lifestyle and just how open she is. And I just want to understand her mindset because I think it can help a lot of the viewers, listeners, to be more free, to be you, to be, comfortable in your own skin and just really, understand that, you got one body, one temple, and it's yours to, use and do as you please. So let me get into the guest. All right. So I got Vic Styles, age 36, career/job. She's a content creator, founder of blackgirlssmoke, founder of Good Day Flor, co-host and founder of Kontent Queens podcast. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to the podcast. Co-founder, Cloud Haus, Brooklyn. All right, BK in the house. All right. Now, college degree. She went to UAB. She dropped out her senior year. We're gonna get into that. I saw that and I was like, I want to talk about that. And then Yrs In Profession. She's a content creator. 13 years. blackgirlssmoke and Kontent Queens. All right, 2 years with Good Day Flor, and then I believe 1 year with Good Day Flor, and then Cloud Haus 3 months. All right, so I didn't want to mix that up. But Vic Styles, say what's up to the podcast.
What's up, podcast?
What's good? Listen, we're glad to have you on here. It wouldn't be Big Boss Talk the podcast if we did not play Two Truths and a Lie. So we got to get the crowd, the people, a little bit about you, see if they can guess it. But not only them, but me, because I got to guess it. And I'm going to go ahead and knock it out. So let me hear those 3 statements.
All right. I broke my leg in a motorcycle accident. I am the youngest sibling.
Okay.
And when I graduated high school, I had gone to 10 different schools.
Okay, so when you graduated high school, during that time, you had went to 10 different schools? Wow. Okay. So you said broken leg, right? Youngest sibling. And then went to 10 different high schools prior to graduation?
10 different schools.
10 different schools. Okay, 10 different schools. Got it. Broke your leg. You said it was a motorcycle, right? Motorcycle accident? Okay. Ooh. I mean, I can believe the motorcycle accident. I can definitely believe that. But I feel like people love to throw me off. Like maybe it wasn't a leg. Maybe it was like an arm. My details matter. Youngest sibling. I believe that you are the youngest sibling. Now listen, you laugh. I love doing this game because as I speak and talk, people usually their body language just give me the answers, and so I'm just like You know, but
It's the lot, like it's you sorting everything out. I just can't deal with
so
it.
listen, I'm the detective. I gotta figure out what I can believe and what's not. But I know people like to throw me off a little bit. So then, 10 different high schools. I believe that. You know, you wouldn't throw that out if that wasn't like a truth. You know. But then again, 10 high schools. It could have been 8. Could have been 9. We don't know. But I'm gonna go with my first gut, and I'm gonna say the motorcycle. You didn't break a leg. I mean, maybe you broke something. I just don't think you broke a leg. But I'm gonna go with my first gut, and I'm going to say, ooh, the 10 schools is a lie.
Oh, the 10 schools is the truth.
What's
The
the?
motorcycle was the
I
lie.
knew it. Ah,
Oh,
why?
damn, you were so close.
Why? And when you laughed, I was like, but people always gonna tell me the truth. Like that's why I like talking it out because people haven't caught on yet. Like when I talk it out, they usually like give me a little gesture, a little smirk, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm picking up what they putting down. But okay, dang, that's crazy. All right, so if it wasn't the motorcycle, was I right? It wasn't your leg. It was something else, or
It actually wasn't a motorcycle. And I didn't break it. I fractured my shin horseback riding.
oh man, how was horseback riding? I always wanted to go. I think it's pretty dope. How was it?
Oh man, it's the best thing ever. So we getting close now, but
Yeah.
I used to compete when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I wanted, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to go to the Olympics. Like I had ribbons. Have you seen like people on TV that like jump over those poles? I
Yeah, I
can
know
do that.
exactly. Yeah.
I can do that.
That's
Yeah.
dope, man. Listen, I'm from the South now, so I went to class with a girl. She competed. You know, when we were in elementary, this is why me and horses kind of. I'm not afraid of them, but early years we had a love-hate relationship because this girl brought me to her house and like she had a barn in the back. It was like her competing horse. It's like Halloween. This is another thing. Wow, it's October. This is crazy. So we out, and we go to the barn, and she, you know, they taking us as kids. Like this is third grade, so we super excited. I walk up to the horse. They're like, "You can pet it," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm like about to embrace, and then next thing you know, that thing jumped up. I was like, "Oh!" I low key thought he was racist because I was the only black person there. I was like, "Oh my god!" But but for real though, I was scared, and the girl's name was Kristen. I'll never forget it. Kristen Grubb. Shout out to Kristen because she's super dope. But I was terrified from horses for a couple of years. Now I feel like I got enough courage that I can walk up on a horse again, get on it, ride it, stuff like that. But hey, that's a tough sport that you did. Like, what made you kind of stop?
First of, it's expensive as shit.
I believe it.
I had no idea when I was a kid. That was my parents paying for everything. I got to be an adult, and I was like, wait, this costs how much?
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
But one day, and sometimes I do go still, but like it's few and far between.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, and then so we got youngest sibling, which is true. How many siblings do you have?
Yeah, I have one older brother and 2 stepsisters.
Oh, that's dope. What's it like being the youngest? I mean, you're obviously the favorite, so.
You know what? I didn't even grow up in the house with them. They're so like we're so far apart in age.
Okay.
My brother is 16 years older than me.
So
like we lived together my first like 3 or 4 years of life, but after that we were, he was grown, and my stepsisters too. They're a lot older than me.
Oh, they was grown. Okay.
Yeah, they was grown. So I grew up by myself for the most part.
Okay, that's cool. And then you said 10 schools. Now break that down because that's a lot of schools.
Different schools. Yeah, so not 10 high schools, but my dad was in the military. Okay. So every like 2 to 3 years we would move, and that would be a new school.
And that's the journey, man. Hey, it is what it is. Military lifestyle is tough. Like, did you ever feel like moving around so much, did that hurt you? Did that help you? Like, what was your outlook on just moving around and not really? Because I know it's hard building friendships, when you're moving so much. So did it hurt you, help you?
I think both. I think like as a kid, first of all, I'm 36, right? Mm-hmm. So when I was moving around, there wasn't really the internet. There wasn't the internet.
No.
And so it like those were final goodbyes. I'm never gonna see you again. I might write you a letter every now and then, but
Yeah.
like this is it.
Yeah.
So like it was heartbreaking as a kid to have to every 2 years meet new people,
Dang.
get comfortable with new people. But as an adult, I love it because it's taught me not to hold on to people, places, things. It's like, yo, when it's time to go, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You're gonna be okay. So I love it now, but I always, once I did get older, especially moving to the South, because I went to school in Alabama,
Okay.
but like my friends from the South, a lot of them born and raised in the same house, like their family all lives in the same neighborhood. And I started to envy that. Like, you mean that this is the house that like you had your fifth birthday in and your
Yeah.
15th birthday? And so I do envy people who have those roots like that.
Yeah, I can see both ends of the spectrum. As you explain it, it's like as a kid you don't understand. Like you just like, dang, I'm moving away from my friends. It's hard to build. It's difficult. But then now that when you talk about getting older, you don't attach to things like others do. You know what I mean? And I think for me, you hit on attachment. It's like, I'm 27. I kind of work my way up into where I feel like I'm doing all right. Obviously, I got bigger dreams, bigger goals, just like everybody else. But you work so hard to build something that you get kind of scared that it's gonna crumble, and so you hold on to it and squeeze the life out of it. And in the long run, that doesn't help you or your situations because it's like, what can I do? So I don't know if you ever, if that's the benefit for you is because you can let go, and you can move on, and you can take what the good and then understand that there's another chapter in my life that I have to move on to. So
Yep, that's exactly it.
that's dope. That's dope. All right, cool. So quick questions. All right. So I know, I looked at the page. So obviously, founder of Black Girls Smoke. Love the page. Love what you're doing. Love the message. Are you? I think I know this answer, but this is just for people that don't know. Are you more of a papers or cigarillos?
I can't say one over the other. So like when I first started smoking, it was out of cigarillos. It was out of swishers. It was out of swishers.
Yeah.
Right. And so that was the first half of my life. When I moved to LA is when I discovered papers. And I was a little afraid of it at first. I was like, this is for white people. What is this?
I can see that.
I just never seen black people smoke out of that.
The only people you see smoking papers is white people. At first.
Okay. Oh, it took me a minute to start liking papers, but now the more that I know about cannabis, the more that I know about the importance of what you use to smoke out of, papers are by far better for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the taste of tobacco.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Got you. Love the taste of tobacco. Got it. Now, are you, another question, indica or sativa? Or are you a hybrid?
Oh, man. Both. Because I smoke all day, every day. And so in the mornings, I need something that's going to uplift me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And at night, I don't want to smoke a sativa because it's going to give me anxiety. It's going to give me too much energy. I'm trying to relax and like calm down into my body.
Right.
So indicas, I like both for different things.
Okay, got you. Now, we all know, like, the reason why I wanted to talk to you because I wanted to get rid of the negative outlook on cannabis. The older generation, there's still some old heads and some, people that more traditional that feel, cannabis is just bad. It's just bad, bad for you. It makes you slow. It slows you, whatever the case may be. We all know everybody's reaction to cannabis is different. Just like, medicine. Everybody can't take the same medicine because it affects them a lot differently than others. But I guess the question that I was going to ask is just, I don't know if it went blank, but sorry. Freaking, what I was going to ask? Oh, this is it. Okay, cool. Cannabis. How do you choose, what's good cannabis versus what's bad? As far as like, if it's a new smoker that's doing it for the benefits of, anxiety, whatever the case may be, or if it's you're using it as social, how can someone be smart about what cannabis they choose and what cannabis they smoke? Because we want to do it safely and, you want to do it right. That was the question.
So that's a great question, actually. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that. Oh, I think so. One, if you're in a legal market, if you're living in a state where cannabis is fully legal, the dispensary is your best bet. I know that it can be a little bit more expensive than getting it on the street, but the good thing about the dispensary is that cannabis, that weed is all regulated from the time it's a seed to the time it hits the packaging. So you know exactly what's been used in it and what hasn't been used in it. That's one of the good things about regulation. There aren't many, but that is one.
Yeah.
But if you're in an illegal market or a market where there's a little bit of a gray area, like New York, for instance, it's fully legal to consume cannabis, but it's fully illegal to purchase or sell cannabis right now. So it's like, well, where are you buying it from if you're allowed to use it? You could be selling it at the bodega, at the corner store, people selling it in the train, like it's everywhere.
Yeah.
One, I think that in every state, there are underground cannabis companies. There's a cannabis industry in every state, right? Farmers that have just been farming and growing. A quick Reddit search, even on Instagram, will put you in touch with some people that are in that community. Ask those local people, hey, where's a good place to consume or to purchase cannabis? I would say word of mouth, honestly.
Okay.
Because like just trusting somebody that walks up to you on the street, trusting somebody that you find on the street, it could be anything. People are lacing weed with all types of things now. So ask a friend. You know somebody that smokes. Everybody knows somebody that smokes.
Everybody. Everybody knows somebody that's smoking.
Everybody.
Got it.
You know, but look at it, smell it, feel it. If it smells too chemically, if it looks a little weird, if the color is off, treat it like you would food. You know what good food smells like. Cannabis, weed, it's an herb, so it should smell like the earth. It shouldn't smell like plastic or like chemicals or anything other than skunk and mold grass.
Got it.
Is what it should smell like.
Perfect. Well, those are my quick hitters. Like those are the beginning questions, right? So for me, I always like to start in the beginning, and understand how we got to where we are now. So, what did young Vic Styles want to be? Growing up.
A pediatrician / horseback rider. That was like kid Vic.
Okay.
And then college Vic went to school for psychology, but quickly learned that I loved fashion and that I wanted to be a wardrobe stylist. So I dropped out of college to move to LA to try to do that.
Wow. Okay. So pediatrician / horseback, right?
Yeah.
That's young, kid. I guess what changed your mind from wanting to be a pediatrician to then going to school for fashion? Like what changed your mind there? Was it just like you didn't like working with babies? Because pediatrician, they work with babies. I'm pretty sure.
But I was a kid. I was like 13. I didn't even know what who I was to be saying like this is what I want to do. I think that like that was something that I saw on TV that I was like, this sounds very smart. Let me say some shit that sounds smart. This sounds smart.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was. And it wasn't that I wanted to sound smart, it's that I was smart. That like from a really young age, I was always in these like GT, gifted and talented classes and AP classes. So I was placed in the box of smart. And because I was placed in that box, I thought that I had to live up to what a smart person would do as a job, which is be a pediatrician.
Yeah.
And once I got to college and I started working retail, I had a boss who worked at Express, and she was like, you're really good at this. Have you ever thought about being a stylist? And I was like, what the hell is that? And she explained it to me, and my friends bought me this book about being a stylist, and I started watching this reality show, and I was like, oh, I do want to be that.
Yeah. I think that's kind of funny though. I talk all the time with people, to guidance counselors, teachers, just people in general, right? And I always find it funny that people try to make you choose what you want to be at a super young age. Like, what you want to do? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you don't even, like you said, you don't even know yourself. At that age, like I didn't really find out who I truly was, per se, until like I left, went to college, and then graduated, and then had to kind of sit with myself because I'm not back at home. I'm by myself. I gotta make an ends meet for myself. Then I really figured out like what I like, what I don't like. And it's funny to me that you said like, you were put in the box of smart. And I think a lot of us are put in the box of smart, and it's almost like a cage. You know what I'm saying? That box is like a cage. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I think people should be allowed to step outside of the labels and just say, what do you like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you like? What are your gifts? And play towards that versus like you need to choose what you want to be, and not necessarily always be about the money. Like inflation is real. We understand that, but at the end of the day, I find out every day, all money ain't good money.
Ooh, say it again.
You know what I mean? All money ain't good money. So it's like, you gotta. How would you help somebody figure out like their passion? You know what I'm saying? Like how you kind of walked into fashion. You understood like, yeah, I think I like that. I think I got an eye for that. What advice would you give somebody to help find that? It may not be fashion. It's whatever they enjoy and whatever they love.
What do you do when nobody is around you? Right? Like, what are the things that if you had 2 weeks to do nothing, what would you be doing? Would you be fishing? Would you be golfing? Would you be writing and painting? Like, and then capitalize on that thing. Maybe not capitalize on it, but like maybe pay attention to that thing a little bit more because that might be the spark for you.
Right.
I just think that sometimes we look at things, I don't even know.
We try to monetize it.
Yeah, or we don't try to monetize it.
Yeah, that too.
Or we have a gift and we're like, you know what? I don't think I can make money off of this. I'm gonna just keep doing this other thing that I hate.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why not just try with the thing that you love? What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah.
You could always go back to the job that you hate. It's always gonna be a job waiting for you that you are not going to like.
Yeah. I think that's true. I had this conversation I was doing. I had a little photo shoot, and the guy I was talking to, he was telling me how he fully just jumped into photography. And he said he had a mentor, and he was just like, "Hey, look, it's now or never. You young, you can always go back. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna at least help you kind of get your business started." And his thought process was, he was like, he wasn't seeing the clientele that he thought he should see to do the math in his head. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like the security. Security is a big piece that kind of, it can either, sometimes I would say it holds people back from doing what they truly like, but then it's also that part of responsibility of like, I need security to also live too. So like, how do we find that balance?
I think, okay, so two things that work for me. Patience, actually 3 things. Patience, reframing what it means to like live comfortably, and community. Like, I don't think I would be anywhere without any of those things. So many people give up after year 1, year 2, even year 5 of the thing.
Yep.
People want it to pop off in 6 months. They want to be able to keep their job, keep their house, keep their car, do all the things they've always done, and then have this other thing just pop off and make them richer or better or bigger or more famous. And it's like, nah, sometimes you got to go move back in with your mama for a couple months or years until the thing pops off. And you got to be okay with knowing that I don't have a plan B. There is no energy that has been put into a plan B. All I have is this. So this shit is going to work. Even if it's not today or tomorrow, it's going to work at some point.
Yeah, it got to. It got
to.
Yeah. I think that's, you got to be a different breed to really be able to put your back against the wall. And not necessarily put your back against the wall. I think the different breed, when I say that, is more, are you willing to humble yourself a little bit? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And not necessarily live up to the stereotypes of, society or social media, right? Because social media also have you living super fast or doing things that, maybe you're not ready for yet. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, me and the wife, we've been talking about a house and things of that nature. But, to be honest, we had to look back and be like, okay, the prices on housing right now is through the roof. You know, we had some good friends, good realtors be like, maybe you should wait, you know, until after the, you know, everything kind of just slows down. And luckily that's what we did, because now we're seeing a little decline as far as like in the housing market. But if we would have moved at the timetable of social media, who knows what situation we would have been in, you know, high mortgage or, you know, whatever the case may be. I think you got to have, you know, I always pray for like discernment and just understanding, like, you know, try to slow down, take your time. And that's hard for me because I'm a doer. Like I move. Like I gotta move. I'm a doer. I'm not a person that's gonna sit and wait. So like if I'm like you, so like if I was living by myself and I didn't have anybody with me, I'm cool with chasing my dream and going back to mom's crib. Like I'm gonna hustle it out. You know what I mean? Because that's me. Like I'm cool with that. But it's not, you know, sometimes you gotta, you know, do that, but then also do what's best for the other person as well to find that happy medium. So that's cool. I'm glad I asked that question. And so we got into, you know, fashion. What is it that you love about fashion? You know, because I like fashion too. I probably got different reasons behind why I like fashion and why you like fashion. But what is your reason behind why you like fashion?
My grandmother was a designer.
Ooh.
And when my grandmother passed away, she had 4 closets. Like I'm talking like old black lady with Gucci, Louis.
Grandma was snazzy.
Like, she was fly, and I didn't even realize that she was the reason I liked fashion until she passed away. And I was like, oh, this is like, we designed my prom dress together. Well, I designed it, and she made it with me. Like it's always been something that I loved. I just never knew that I could have a career in it. I think that I loved it so much because it's what made me stand out. So like I was always the new girl, but it's like always what kind of made me the cool new girl. Like, oh my God, look, she wearing some new shit, because I was always moving to, like, in middle school, I moved from Europe to back to America. So I was like on some European fashion
you was
shit.
On some different.
Like, oh, she's fly.
You was different.
So I think it just always made me feel like I could be free to be myself, but other people understood it and accepted it in a way.
Got it. I mean, for me, I would say, for me, fashion is more like art. And you look at it the same way. I mean, it's like, how do you tell your story each and every day? Like, it's the only thing that really you can tell your story each and every day. Is like how you want to be perceived, how you want to be looked at. Like, what's your aura? And I think that's why, to me, it's fashion. Like, I don't think I can design other people. Like, that's a whole different thing. Like being able to look at somebody and be like, oh, my wife asks me all the time, like, pick out something. I'm like, I can definitely, we can get you some shoes. But as far as like how to put the shoes and the fit together, like I be struggling sometimes. And I'm like, man, I wish I had that gift. I can do it every now and again, but I know me. You know what I'm saying? I know my body. I know how my body looks in certain things, and it's like I can just put it on and be done with it. So that's cool. And so you went to UAB, but didn't finish. Why didn't we finish?
So my junior year, I went to LA for an internship.
Okay.
Because I thought I wanted to be a buyer. I was like, maybe I want to be a buyer. Like, that's something you can go to school and get a degree for. Because I'm still thinking, like, you're smart. You need to graduate.
Yeah.
And I interned at BCBG in their buying department, and there was no fashion involved. It was all Excel and spreadsheets and numbers. And I was pissed. Yeah. Like, this is not it. This ain't it. No. But that was my first time, like, going to LA, and going to Los Angeles from Alabama. I was just like,
it's a vibe.
I need to come back. I need to come back here.
Yes.
I need to get back there. So I went back to Alabama for another semester. And in the middle of that semester, I was just like, this ain't it. And I got up out of class, walked out of class, and was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go back. But I couldn't tell my parents at the time. I was living with my parents.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't tell them. So I told them, I was like, look, I'm gonna go back to LA. I have another internship. Like, I have another internship in the fall. This was a summer semester. I have another internship. So I'm gonna go to LA in August, and I'll just stay there a couple months and I'll come back. Lied to them. My mama helped drive me to LA this whole time, thinking I have an internship. When she flies back,
Oh my
when
God.
she flies back, I'm like, yeah, so
Yeah,
actually I
so hot off the plane. Yeah.
dropped out of college and I'm not coming back home.
What was that like?
Yo, that was some 24-year-old selfishness and stupidity.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, but before that, so I told you I was living with my parents, and I've always worked. Ever since I was 16, my dad was like, the deal is everything you need, you got. You need something, I got you.
Yeah.
Anything you want, any extra clothes, you want a cell phone, you don't need a cell phone at this point in time. You need to work to get it. So I always had a job.
Okay.
But I never really had to pay any bills.
Right. Right.
The car I drove out there, my dad is paying the car note. I don't even know how much, I don't even know what a car note is.
Mm-hmm.
They called me the next day. They was like, okay, we're glad that you made this decision on your own. You are now on your own. Don't call here for help. Don't call us for money. Like, that's it. And that was it. So I moved out there for a free internship, for an interview.
Yeah.
For intern. I didn't even have the internship. And I found a job at BCBG and I started working at a bar and I was doing my free internship and I was making it happen. I was making it happen.
This is not a sad moment in your life, is it?
Oh no, this is the best moment ever.
Oh wow, because I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, like, did you
Nah,
get?
I made it happen. I grinded.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? How did your
17,
family? What did your family
How
think?
did-
Yeah, like, okay, so they left you. They said you on your
Oh,
own.
that was
Did they call you, like,
yeah.
check up on you, be like, you all right?
Yeah. We would,
Yeah.
They would call every now and then. It definitely like put a rift in our relationship because we
Okay.
were really close before that.
Yeah.
And like it just kind of fucked everything up. Every time I would go home or talk to them, they'd be like, when you going back to college? What's up with college? What's going on with your life?
Yeah.
And even like maybe this was in 2010.
Yeah.
13 years ago at this point. Even up until last year, my daddy is still like, so when you going back to college, Victoria?
No, he not.
Yes, it is. My mom has accepted it, but my dad, he's not giving it up.
Yeah,
He's like, okay,
old
so
school on a whole nother level. Oh, he say, we gotta go back to school. Okay, I like that. I had to understand. I wanted to understand, like, did it put a rift in between the family? So, which it did,
Yes.
but you grinded, you made it happen. Would you say that was you said that was some of the best, was that some of the best times in your life? Was it some of the hardest? Like, what was the plan? How did you construct the plan, amongst that time?
There was no plan.
Wow.
There was no plan. The plan was, this has to make it. But you know what? In all honesty, it was a feeling. There was something in me when I was in that class that was like, no, you have to go and you have to go now.
Gotcha.
And so the first like 4 months, I didn't really have a plan. I didn't know what I was doing. And I was interning though. I was meeting people, and the woman I was interning for, Taylor Jacobson, she's a celebrity stylist.
Mm-hmm.
She was styling this group called Big Time Rush. They were on Nickelodeon, and they had a song with Snoop Dogg. And that was the most fun I'd ever had because that was like the first time I got to be around Black people. Everyone else before that was like white celebrities, and it was cool, but it was like, nah. Yeah. So I saw Stylist and I fell in love with her. Like, she just looked like she was having so much fun. She was so dope. So I hit her up on Twitter, and April Rumette, she ended up hiring me. She was like, yeah, I know you don't really have much experience, but like, come through. So she hired me for a shoot. It was a Swiss Beats and Alicia Keys shoot. And yeah. And I had been in LA 6 months, only been there 6 months.
Wow. So
I go the morning before, my car is overheating. This is crazy.
Oh yeah,
I've never talked about this in so long. My car was overheating and I didn't really have any money to fix it. And I needed to drive to the shoot the next day. Mm-hmm. So I took it to Pep Boys. The dude charged me like $30 for a little check. And he was like, oh, it's the thermostat. And it's gonna cost $160 for me to fix the thermostat. I was like, I don't really have that. So I'll go into Pep Boys and I see that there's a thermostat for sale for like $16.99. I'm like, I'm just gonna get this shit. Bro, dude, when I tell you, I got on YouTube and I Googled Hyundai Elantra 2006, how do you change the thermostat? I swear to God. I went to Walmart and I bought some tools and I fixed my fucking car myself. And I went to that shoot and I met Swiss and Alicia and April hired me and I got to do so much more amazing career building shit after that. Yes.
Bro, okay. So now this is a pivotal point right now. When we look at the story, because I'm like, a lot of a lot of females, women, they not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just gonna be like, dang, I couldn't make it. You know what I mean? Like, that was a pivotal moment where it was like, we either gonna make it happen or we not. And you made it happen. Like, was it just pure was it just determination of like, I wanna, I really wanna do this, or like, I mean,
it was ego. It was ego because at that point, everyone in my family at that point was like, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're not going to make it. This is stupid. And so that was the fuel for anything that came my way. I was like, nah, I have to prove these people wrong.
Yeah. You can't go back. That's crazy. You can't go back. That's like some burn the boat type stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we here now. Let's burn the boat, because ain't no going back on the boat. We ain't retreat. You know what I'm saying? So, dang, that's cold. Okay. So met with Swizz Beatz, Alicia Keys, changed from there. Okay, so we did the shoot. We made it happen. Talk to me about like what you did on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Because there's people that might want to get into, what you're doing in the role that you played. But what does that look like, on a day-to-day basis, for you?
Okay, wait, what you mean? Like, what do I,
so
you
said, so remember, so you did a shoot with Swizz Beatz, right? And you went on to do more amazing work. When you were doing that amazing work, what did your day-to-day look like? How did you keep, keep the schedule busy? How did, was it, how did you stay booked and busy? How did you maintain the income? Like, what were you doing? Like some of the sauce behind that?
Yeah. So I was a full-time assistant. I became one of April's full-time assistants. So I was doing shopping for celebrities, music video styling, tours. But my day-to-day would be like a team meeting some mornings, running around LA, picking up clothes, getting things custom made. It was very fast-paced. Like, there wasn't a lot of sleep involved. There wasn't a lot of rest involved. But I loved what I was doing so much that none of that matters. Like, every day that I woke up and I went to work, I was excited. I was learning. And I think that's something that a lot of people, I feel like, especially at this point in my career, now that I'm hiring interns and assistants, there's a little bit of a sense of entitlement, right? Like, what are you going to do for me? And yes, this should be a good give-take relationship, but even just watching April work was enough for me. Even if I wasn't getting paid, because there were days when she was like, listen, this shoot's not paid, and I would still show up because it's like, I want to learn. And there's nothing that a book or a video can teach me better than actually being on set and seeing somebody do this. And that was the best part of my day. It's just absorbing and learning about an industry that I was just so fascinated by.
Yeah, that's real game right there. That's real game. So anybody that's listening, like, understand that when you truly love something, you willing to do any and everything just to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Money, no money. It's just like, because you always soaking up something. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it's something that you don't know about. I talked to a guy named Trail. He has Black Excellence Brunch, I believe. I think he's out in LA. And I talked to him, and he was telling me how he used to intern for free. Like, he was just like, listen, I interned for free, and to be honest, the money, it wasn't the real gift. It was the experience. You know what I mean? Like, what he learned, everything he was taught, like, he took that and projected himself into another stratosphere. So I was able to get him on the podcast and be able to talk to him about that, and we had a super dope conversation. And just to hear you say the same thing, it's like, success principles always transfer. It may look different, the people may be different, but as far as the principles and what people are willing to do to get to their ultimate goal is, you can't put a price on that. You really can't. So
wait, question for you. Have you ever worked for free?
Have I?
Work for free, yeah.
Have I ever interned for free? So technically, yes. So I work intern for free for probably about 6 months. But the thing about my intern, so I was an athlete. Um, I wanted to be an engineer growing up, and engineering changed because the school, like I was playing ball, and it was like you got to take trigonometry 1 and 2 in the same semester. I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. So I was like, what am I good at? I can talk. I like to make people laugh. I'm like mass communications. So I do mass communications, no plan. I thought I was gonna be Stephen A. Smith, like a sports broadcaster, because I like sports. But then I kind of like was like, I didn't want to. It was an ego thing because I was like, I worked. My mom worked too hard, and I feel like I worked too hard to go to school, kind of get school paid for, to start like at the low bottom, because I was going, I wasn't gonna be making money, and I would say that's my ego. Like I could have easily interned at a news for free, but I also feel like South Carolina isn't the market to do that. I feel like you need to go to popping areas with sports, like New York, Philadelphia, LA, like where sports is king. And I just wasn't able to do that. So, but I will say I worked for free for an internship for like 6 months. I did so well that they was like, hey, you can come back after you graduate and we'll get you a full-time job. So that's what I end up doing. Luckily, I haven't been able to. I haven't had to work for free for long, but I will say, doing what I do now is almost like an internship. I have conversations for free, like I don't need to get. I'm livid. Like I get excited just to be able to talk to people. And my whole goal for the podcast is for people to listen, and hopefully it breaks a chain within them to say, I can do this. You know what I mean? And it also gives kids or people an idea, like, just like you didn't know fashion could be a career. They can see you and like, Vic Styles doing it, I can do it. You know what I mean? And then maybe they need that push or that story of like, I left, faked the internship, just got dropped off in LA, and I had to do my thing. I, I'm not. I'm not gonna say I'm gonna condone that decision right now, but it might be something that you need to do. Like your story is your story, and you can't let your parents, you can't let family members dictate how you want to live your story. The decision may be off the wall, it may be crazy, but you got to do it. So I do this creatively for free all day, every day. And I learn from people like you, Trail, everybody I sit down with, I'm learning. I'm like, man, I can take that and apply it to this. I can take that and apply it to this. So long story short, but I definitely worked for free before. And I understand. I understand. But also playing sports, you work for free. Like there was a time where I wasn't a starter. I wasn't looked at as a good athlete, and I worked my ass off to become a starter, to get a scholarship to play ball at a university for 4 years. Like I did that hard work, but people wasn't looking. So I can understand how you went to LA and was like, I gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Like by any means necessary, because this is my dream. And look at you now. Like you laugh about the story, but it's so much pride. Like nobody can take that away from you. You go into every situation and say, I've been at the bottom. You know what I mean? Like I've been at the bottom and worked my way up to what I got now. So it's like that pride. When you can take that into any situation, you gonna make the best out of any and every situation. On top of your ability to move away from situations when it no longer benefits you. Like having that too, because that's a gift in itself. Like some people are so loyal and they stay so long that it hinders them, versus like having not being able to attach to things and being able to move on. Like I feel like that's something that benefits you, and it comes in handy sometimes. I'm not saying you don't get attached to things every now and again, but just understanding, that feeling. So
Thank you for that. Thank you. I needed that because it's funny. Sometimes the things that are a gift, sometimes we don't view it that way.
yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard. So I appreciate you asking me the question. That's the first time that has happened. So true podcast, true podcaster right there. Listen, I know how to switch the question. And then, like I said, I don't want to take too much long. The conversation's been great. Believe it or not, it's like 7:46. We've been like 46 minutes in.
Okay.
I do want to talk to you about you know your content creator, being a content creator for 13 years. How did you get into content creating? And then also, how did you come up with, Black Girl Smoke, the idea?
Yeah. I started a blog in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Just as like I was living in Alabama, I had just became an AKA, and like I just felt really isolated.
Yeah,
I felt like nobody understood me, especially my style. Like moving to Alabama from DC, I was just completely different.
totally.
And I found, I don't even know how I found these girls' blogs, but I found them and I was like, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, yeah,
So I just started taking pictures and like posting it on my website. And that was the start of blogging. And people would send me free shit to Alabama before I moved to LA. But
okay.
then once I moved to LA, that was like the land of the bloggers. And Instagram happened in 2010, also when I moved to LA.
Mm-hmm.
So that just kind of amplified things. And at the time, I was styling and like posting celebrities. So I was getting a lot of followers from that.
Yeah,
And brands were just, again, hey, we want to give you this free thing. And then maybe like 2 years of free stuff, people started to pay me. It wasn't a lot of money. It was like $75 because this was like 2012.
yeah,
But like,
back 75.
I didn't know anybody getting $75 to post a picture on the internet. And they should, it was
Right,
great.
right.
And fast forward to 2018, 19. 2018 was my last year of styling and like my first full year of just content creation. I had been doing them like simultaneously,
Yeah,
but that was the year I was like, oh, I'm making more money from like holding up this skincare in my living room
yeah,
than driving all around the city dealing with celebrities. Like,
yeah,
I'm just gonna do this.
yeah,
And we all know around 2017, 2018, especially in 2020, influencer content creator just took over. Brands just started throwing billions of dollars and like followers started coming
yeah,
and it became a career. But
yeah.
when I started it, there was no one with a career. This didn't even exist. So it's been really fucking fun just to like do this thing for a long time and finally get paid for it.
Yeah. Now, when you say I know content creating, like it's almost you are a early bird. You are OG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you people don't understand. Like you've been doing this since 2008, 2010, and now it's 2023. You've reaping the rewards. Like that's a long time. But now you got people that hop on social media, and sometimes they can take off very, very quick. And there's different ways you can do that. I know, buying followers and all that good stuff, but I don't think buying followers is good just because you start attracting fake pages. I think, you want the authenticity, you want the engagement, you want the people to really love your content and really be able to feel that love, when you post something or when you say something. So, again, content creators, some of them pop off quick, some of them don't. But then also there's people that get upset and they quit, creating content because they're not seeing the check behind it, whether it's 6 months or to a year. When you're putting up content, what's your process of putting up content? Is it just you because this is what I like, or is it more methodical? Like, how do you post?
It's both.
Okay.
So there, this is my business.
Yeah.
Up until last week, I had a manager. So this is like a team and I have an assistant that like moves.
Mm-hmm.
When you're doing brand work, you can't just take the picture and post it. You have to send it to them. They have to send it to it. It's like mad teams involved to get it approved.
Yeah.
And they tell you the date and the time that you can post.
Mm.
And then they also tell you, you need to have at least 4 posts in between our sponsored post and the next sponsored post. So it is a little bit free because it's like, when it's not sponsored, I can post what I want. But there are definitely regulations on content creators, I guess, or rules or boundaries that we have that the average Instagram user just doesn't have to worry about.
Yeah, and I also, you mentioned a manager. Having a manager. I've talked to another influencer. She is super heavily on like YouTube and stuff like that, and she talks about how sometimes working with different brands can be irritating because of the regulations, the deadlines. Do you? And I just gotta ask. I think I know the answer, but when brands come to you, how do you choose what brands to work with? And I know you can give me the answer, but I think I know the answer. But how do you choose what brands you want to work with?
It has to align with my values first. I don't eat meat. I also don't use any products that have any harsh chemicals in them. I literally look up the ingredient on every product.
Yeah.
And 90% of my wardrobe is sustainable, which means I won't work with brands like Forever 21 or H&M or Zara. And so those things are of the utmost importance. And then, of course, how much are y'all gonna pay me is next.
That makes sense. How we cutting the check? What's up? So that's cool. I think I looked at your page and I saw you use is it Smith's?
Yeah, Schmitz. Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, that seems like, dope, because I'm looking at trying to change things up, doing things a little bit more organically. And I saw Smith and I was like, man, I'm gonna talk to her about Smiths and see if I can I'm gonna go buy me some and so I can try it out and just see how
you know what? Email me your address. I have some extra I'll send you too.
Man, that's dope.
Try it and let me know.
Okay, I got you. I'll do that for sure. But I wanted to try to do things a little bit more organic. I just tapped into sea moss. I had a guy. Yeah, I got a guy. He's very conscious, mindful, conscious, and for me, I think it's becoming more important because I've been dealing with a little bit anxiety, recently. It's not, and I think it's really becomes from I have really bad survivor's remorse, and I do sometimes get anxiety, and I've just been looking at the correlation, and I'm like, I'm out in Houston. I don't always eat the best. I've been working out constantly though for about 6 months now. Lost over like 40 pounds. Been doing it right. But I look at people like you. I look at people like my guy over at Kings and Queens and how you guys really pay attention to what you intake and what you use on your body. And for me, I know that's what I want to kind of get more into. I may not, become super extreme, but I do want to be more careful about what I eat, what I use, just because I know it has a overall effect, later down the road. So I appreciate you for, what you stand for, everything that you do, because, I'm taking notes. I always take notes. I don't have to talk to people to take notes and understand. Almost similar to when you were working with, being an assistant, you just like, I just want to, you don't got to say nothing, but I could just watch and pick up games. So that's what I was doing. And I appreciate you don't have to send the deodorant, but I will shoot you the address, the Addy. I'll shoot you the Addy, so we can get that, so I can test it out. But man, Vic, I think I asked all the questions I had. My last question is, what's the best advice someone has ever given you? And we'll end it like
that. My mom always tells me that life is like a storm. And so sometimes it's going to rain, it's going to thunder, it might be a hurricane, but like at some point it has to stop. The sun has to come out again. It's just up to you to like be steadfast.
Yeah, I like it. I love it. Great advice, man. Great advice. I hope you had fun. I had fun.
I had fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was dope.
Yeah, appreciate it. I always hope when people leave the screen, they feel a little bit more refreshed, a little bit better than how they started. Because I know it can be nerve-wracking, man, when you get on the screen or like doing a podcast, you don't know what questions might come, and it's like the direction it'll go. And hopefully I do that because I'm like, hopefully they, maybe watched one episode or just peeped the IG and understood what we stand for. But I always try to take care of the guests. Just make sure that it's catered towards their brand, what they do, and be respectful and mindful of them. But Vic, I need a recommendation. That's how we keep the podcast moving. So just like Melissa recommended you, if you can give me like one recommendation or two recommendations of somebody that fits the mold of the podcast, somebody that we could talk to, and that'll be it.
Oh shit. Okay. I would say my partner, Jason Paulino, because he's really tapped in as far as plant medicine and mushrooms go. And I think that Black people need to know more about mushrooms.
Okay.
And who else? Damn, I don't know. Can I get back to you on
Yeah,
my
you can
second
get
person?
back. No, it's no big deal. I got your email. So I'm gonna email you. And then we can. All I need is the recommendation. I just need their however they like to be contacted, whether it's Instagram, email, if they do phone
Email.
number. Yeah. So
Okay.
however they like to be contacted, just give me that information, and then I'll reach out to them. And you just let them know, like, hey, this guy Armand, he's gonna reach out to you. Super cool. No spam. I'm gonna hit him up and try to get him on the show.
So thank you so much, love.
Man, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I hope you have a good remainder of your evening. And what I do want to do is I'm gonna get you again. I want to schedule a part 2 soon, maybe a couple of weeks, months from now. And I want to get into more of the cannabis space. But I really wanted to get to understand you, who you were, what you do, and give people an idea of just chasing your dream and what it'll take.
So have a good night.
See ya.
Bye.